Dawn Staley, a legend in her own right both on and off the court, carries a voice of authority when it comes to the game of basketball. Her own legacy, built during her years at the University of Virginia where she led the Cavaliers to the Final Four 3 times, is one of resilience, leadership, and excellence. With a storied career as both a player and a coach, when Staley speaks, particularly about women's basketball, the entire sports world has reason to listen. Recently, Staley made a compelling appearance on the widely followed Not Gonna Lie podcast, hosted by Kelce. The conversation soon steered toward the name that's been making waves across the WNBA and beyond, Caitlin Clark. As the 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year, Clark has generated headlines with her electrifying performances, jaw-dropping three-pointers, and undeniable star power. But Staley, with the insight of a champion and strategist, offered a perspective on Clark that delved deeper than the highlight reels. "She can beat you in a variety of ways," Staley remarked. "She can beat you obviously with her three-point shot." Yet, what followed was the core of Staley's admiration for the young Indiana Fever star. "But for me, the most dangerous thing of Caitlin Clark is her passing ability. Her ability to make other people better. Her ability to have other people's production go up along with her production." In a world where long-range shots often dominate highlight tapes and headlines, Staley's words hit differently. She emphasized that while Clark's deep shooting range is captivating, it's her vision, her awareness, and her playmaking that truly separate her from the rest. It's the selflessness in her game, the way she sees angles others don't, the way she trusts her teammates, the way she lifts everyone on the floor, that turns her from a scoring machine into a force of nature. Staley drew from first-hand experience, recalling her time coaching against Clark in the NCAA tournament. "That was our emphasis when we won, when we beat them, Iowa," she recalled. "We said Caitlin Clark's gonna get 30. But she can't have 12 assists. There was calculation in that strategy. Give her her points, let her have her moments, but prevent her from igniting the fire in the rest of the team. Because if she's got 12 assists, then she's involving her teammates in a way that doesn't quite add up. We can't produce enough points like they can." That was the genius of the game plan, not fearing Clark's scoring, but fearing the domino effect when she turned others into threats. It was about containment, not denial. Staley and her staff understood that Clark is not merely a scorer, she's a multiplier. Throughout the conversation, Staley repeatedly expressed admiration for Clark's impact on the sport. "She's quite incredible. Quite an anomaly," she said. The word, anomaly, wasn't used lightly. It was a tribute to Clark's rare combination of skills: court vision, basketball IQ, fearlessness, and charisma. And beyond the stats, beyond the wins and losses, Staley acknowledged something just as significant: Clark's ability to bring new fans to the game. "She's brought a lot of eyeballs to women's basketball," she said. "New eyeballs. Those fans, the ones discovering the WNBA for the first time, the ones buying tickets, tuning in, engaging online, they're part of a cultural shift. A shift that Clark is helping to lead." Staley, whose own legacy helped build the foundation of women's basketball as we know it today, sees Clark not as a threat to the old guard, but as a torchbearer. "She's someone who can bridge generations, someone whose talent transcends systems and eras. Her stardom is authentic, built not just on numbers but on how she plays, how she competes, how she inspires." Despite only having coached against Clark twice, Staley said without hesitation that Clark might be the most difficult player to scout. And coming from someone who has game planned against legends, that statement holds weight. "She can beat you in so many ways," she repeated, reinforcing that Clark is not a one-dimensional threat. "She can adjust, adapt, attack, and elevate." Staley's reflections weren't just about basketball, they were about legacy, impact, and growth. Clark, in her eyes, isn't just making baskets. She's making history. She's reshaping expectations. She's commanding attention not just with what she does, but with how she does it. And it's telling that someone of Staley's stature, an Olympian, a national champion, a Hall of Famer, can speak so openly, so generously, about a rising star. It reflects confidence, grace, and a genuine desire to see the game flourish beyond any single team or era. The way Staley spoke of Clark wasn't just praise, it was a passing of the baton. It was a recognition that the game is in good hands. That what she and others built is being carried forward by someone who understands the weight of the moment, but still plays with joy, passion, and an unmatched competitive fire. So when Dawn Staley talks about women's basketball, it's not just commentary, it's wisdom. And when she highlights Caitlin Clark not for the splashy threes, but for the quiet brilliance of her passing and leadership, she's teaching us all how to see the game through a deeper lens. Clark may still be early in her pro journey, but with legends like Staley acknowledging not just her talent but her transformational influence, it's clear that her legacy is already in motion.